Beautiful greeting. When did this become an insult? It's literally our middle finger. The head is the middle limb of the 5. This should be a greeting. This should be like, yo, what up, my guy? If somebody was walking into the locker room, I said, since when did the middle finger become an insult, bro? Shouldn't we be using this to greet each other? He's like, I don't know, man. But then when he comes out, he's like, see you, bro. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you for that. But thank you for what? An external validation that something that I said was able to shift a perspective? What are you doing here, bro? Haven't you already learned that trying to vicariously identify and edify your awareness as if though you're going to be validated through this external world only leads to loops of suffering and sedation, where you're born into a womb needing a titty to suck on to feel regulated, and you come right back to that when you don't learn how to breathe in the places that your ancestors never did? Or maybe that your ancestors already did, but it got forgotten down the line. Your mama definitely didn't know how to breathe in those places. That's why she didn't teach you. You can't look to the external world with a perceived destitution or deprivation within your core and expect to be anything except a predator, a reptile. Reptile moms abandon their babies and then they need to go hunt for the food to regulate, just as we hunt for our mediums of regulation. How is this gonna get me in a state where I feel held enough not to feel the static friction of my entire existence, this existential dread that lets me know that I'm not doing shit here? Oh my God. My whole architecture is caught up in these temporary, fleeting desires that aren't even real, that at a certain level reveal themselves as structural perversions born of an infantile haze, a structural grip and ocular gaze, wherein which we are so resistant to Mother Earth herself, to influx, to change. We build insulation to stay in that sedation, to stop ourselves from true creation. Passive consumption and stagnation ends up begetting our entire life, becoming what we literally are. Now, there's nothing wrong with consuming, because in order to have creation, you have to have consumption, unless you're God itself. But even then, God created consumption. So at any level of the celestial hierarchy or experience, you will find food. You will find fuel. You will find something that is no longer serving exactly what you want. So you turn it into a serving to help you, because it's a helping of food. And you might find that you're densely stuck consuming the things that don't help you anyways. Living a very fast life, fast food, fried. Dang, fried mind, brain fog. It's all in the language. It works together perfectly. It shows you where you're at. Fat. That's the thing. The tendency to cling. What are you doing here? Haven't you already learned that seeking the answer outside of yourself from your perceived destitution only leads to chaos? Me and Siddhartha got a message for you older than time. You look back to the dawn of written history, you see the same thing. The world's shallow, hello hollow, hollow hell is low, structurally hollow, deprived core that feels like it needs something outside of its breath. Reverse the attention. Reverse the externalized gaze, the haze, the familiar days. And this isn't just some spiritualized concept born of an exhaustion with the external world. Every compensation pattern that manifests itself in your physical body is a direct reflection of where you're seeking, of where your energy and attention is placed. Going to the term proprioception, spatial awareness. We literally cannot feel our bodies and where and how we're existing and our blood flowing through the entire lattice simply because our attention is externally averted. It takes energy and effort to maintain a rendered frame that you're witnessing. When you reverse that attention, you feel yourself again. The harder we stare, the more complete the disintegration. The more we try to render the form, the more we separate from the originality. The originality is ineffable, not even able to be formulated visually. The whole color scheme that you can witness here is not even real. Look at me beating myself up because I feel like I sound insane. But what else does it mean to be reign, to be sovereignty? To be the protector of divinity in the midst of rebellious children who want you to believe that their way is correct because they were born in neglect. And that's what they learned, and it made them earn a temporary feeling of satisfaction. And they take that faction and they gurgitate it to their young, hung up on the exact same loops of poop. Of course you had to compensate if you were going too hard in one direction, and everybody knows we're going too hard in one direction. Literally. It's better to admit that you walked into the wrong room than to spend your whole fucking life there. Whoa, yeah, a lot of the circumstances, actually every circumstance in my life was begotten by my own architecture. Sure, it might have been involuntary. I might not have gotten to choose arising from the waters of nut in these ancestral patterns of bracing against threat and othering and threat mitigation that every family perceives differently at each level of the hierarchy, even though it's all coming from the exact same thing and they need each other's outsourced scapegoat to maintain the hierarchy to begin with. Of course, you beget compensation if you wanted to win. And that compensation literally manifests itself in all of our bodily asymmetries and all of the remedies that we believe that we need. The belief of need in and of itself comes from the compensation, which reflects itself directly in the body, in your posture, in the tendency to make yourself small, in the tendency to shell up into the mammalian architecture, and the tendency to go to the default program of the bully. Because in this world, when you think that this world is all there is, the status, the capital, the ROI, bullying is the default. You have to be a bully to feel safe if that's all you're gonna think exists. Meanwhile, if you can see eternity beyond a temporary glyph, well, you realize it was only yourself you were trying to hit and discharge your friction onto and feel better than. And it's hilarious that the release of this inherited pride, the literal fall from Eden, is the exact way that we will be able to actualize spontaneous joy, movement, no more stagnation, feeling our body, feeling our breath permeate through the entire thing. Play with one another, play with self, and not through masturbation, not through the need to regulate due to the sedation, due to what you weren't given, due to your loops of emotional storytelling. If you have a narrative, a separate identity of self, you're literally stuck in the past. It's a segment. The future is now because it's moving. It's momentum. Presence navigates us away from these dense, sticky sludges of past backrooms into sovereign fucking creativity, man. I sound insane. I feel insane. It's your boy Rain. I really just needed to upload this to get an anchor in the ether because I am extremely socially isolated right now. And it's all I can think about when I'm in public. And every time I'm like, hey, what's up to anybody, it's just a shallow reflection. And that's obviously due to some unhealed architecture within the core of my being, because I can't act like this shit ain't just a mirror. Even just putting this out is gonna help me organize my thoughts, get to a state of coherence within myself to where I can articulate the things that actually matter enough that will send ripple effects throughout the entire ether without the need for it to change anything, which is the only way that real change is truly inflicted. So this video is nothing but a glyph, a stamp to show, yo, I got some work to do, Poppy. And hilariously, that work is literally not trying to satisfy my fleshly desires of the perceived needs of regulation and safety. Rather, knowing that everywhere I go, I'm trusting, safe, taken care of. There's not a single thing that could go wrong in a path when you know you are the source of the creation. And I'm over here talking about reversing attention, removing perversion from the structure of the human. And yet, admittedly, I'm at a point in my life where every beautiful woman that I see, I want to fall in love with. I want to completely fall asleep in her. But what happens when you do that? She literally eats you. The nature of the devouring mother is falling asleep in the womb. That's why your mom named you in this life. You're her project. You're her little dazzling light. Or such an intense reflection of her own deprivation that she had to go run away in flight. You ain't finding shit in the backwards reality. Actually, I stand corrected. Shit is the only thing you're gonna find. Because you notice how a pile of shit looks like a Fibonacci spiral? And so do we as fetuses in the womb. And that contractile nature is us. But don't worry, it's a rod of eventual expansion, if you allow. But how? If you're gonna have an intent, let it be to be there for that infant.